Hello, my name is Amber, and today we'll be doing a postpartum yoga sequence together. I recommend that you have a block with you or a good sturdy book if you have. And if you don't have, it's also okay. You can still do the sequence without it. So we're going to start lying down. Let's have the block within hand's reach, so we'll just leave it next to our body. We're going to start lying down. Now, when you go down, careful over activating the core. Let's just use the elbows to come down, all the way down onto our back. And we're going to leave the feet on the floor and the knees bent. Now you can open up the feet a little wider than the hips so that the knees can rest towards one another. Then we're going to make a triangular shape with our hands, placing the fingertips right at the pubic bone and the thumbs just below the navel. Try to keep your neck facing forward, looking towards the ceiling, and rest your elbows towards the ground, relaxing the shoulders. For a moment, just staying here, allow the eyes to close, and simply tuning in to your body, allowing the body to become heavy, allowing the breath to slow down. And inviting yourself to be fully present, deeply connected to your body and your breath. Now I'd like to start with noticing our posture. So feel your hands resting on the pelvis and start to have a sense of whether your fingertips are higher than your thumbs, or the thumbs are maybe higher than the fingertips, or they're in one level. So just noticing before you change your posture, noticing what are the position of the hands. And then from here, we want to try to make a neutral pelvis. So that means that the fingertips and the thumbs will be in one plane. Not the fingertips higher, not the thumbs higher, but one plane. So let's do a few pelvic rocks to find out what is our range of motion and how to find that neutral position. So as we inhale, let's rock the pubic bone towards the floor. So we are creating this little arch to the low back. Maybe your hand can slide through. And as you exhale, we're going to flatten the low back to the floor. And now drawing the pubic bone towards the body. So we have a tucked pelvis. Inhale, untucking, dropping the pubic bone forward. Exhale, rocking towards you. And just repeating a few times. Noticing how it feels to move the pelvis, noticing your range of motion, and noticing how you connect your breath to this subtle movement. Maybe doing 2 more times. And now that we've explored that range of motion, see if you can find the neutral point. So again, that means that our fingertips and thumbs are in one plane, and we have a neutral pelvis. You will still feel a very subtle lift of the small back from the floor. You may not be able to get your hand all the way through, but certainly the low back is not flat to the floor. So we have a neutral pelvis. Relax the elbows and shoulders, and now press the bra strap. If you're wearing a bra, press the bra strap into the ground. So we have a neutral rib cage aligned with a neutral pelvis. Keep looking forward towards the ceiling. Maybe you have a slight nod to the chin to lengthen the back of the neck, softening the throat, and now allowing the eyes to close again. And bringing your attention to your breath. So noticing, how does the breath travel through the body? What is moving on your body when the breath comes in? And what is moving when the breath goes out? And notice if there's room for you to expand this breath. And maybe see if you can feel the belly slowly starting to rise and the rib cage expanding with each inhale. As you exhale, the rib cage and the belly soften towards neutral. So I love to focus on this rib cage breath. As the inhale comes in, you should feel the rib cage expanding laterally to the sides and even pressing into the ground. Giving our lungs plenty of space to draw the air in. And as you exhale, we feel the rib cage and the belly softening towards the spine, returning to neutral. Trying to keep full attention on the breath and the body. Staying present with this wave of breath as it enters and as it leaves. Staying with this cycle for 3 more rounds of breath. And our last round. And opening the eyes as you're ready. And you can even release the hands towards the floor. So we work with our posture and our breath, especially postpartum, because it's one of the most effective ways to find integration again with your body. Let's maintain the same posture we had and the same breathing technique, but now we're going to use a block or a book, and you can place it between the thighs. So you may like to walk the heels more together so that they're in line with the hip points on the front of the body, maybe drawing the heels closer towards your body as well. Keep the neutral position of your pelvis and your rib cage, and this time, as we exhale, we're going to squeeze the block. Okay, that's the only change. So as we inhale, we relax the thighs, taking in this nice full breath, breathing through the rib cage. And as you exhale, squeezing the block with the thighs and allowing all the air to leave. Inhaling as you draw the air in, releasing the block slightly. And exhaling, pressing the block, allowing the exhale to leave. You can even close your eyes, finding the steady rhythm of the breath and learning how to sync this activation of the inner thighs with the exhale. We're maintaining contact with the ground the entire time. Start to notice what happens to the body as you're exhaling and pressing the block. Do you feel any activation through the lower belly? Do you not? Just noticing what is happening. Staying with this nice, steady, continuous breath. Each activation happening on the exhale. Each inhale, drawing the breath in, softening through the inner thighs. Taking 3 more rounds. Our last last two. And our last one. As you finish, you can open the eyes. We're going to keep the block where it is, just repositioning if you need. Having the arms by our side, now you have the option of repeating the same exercise, keeping the spine fully on the ground. If you feel stable and steady in the body, you're welcome to now lift your hips up, coming into bridge pose. We will do this dynamically with the breath. So aligning your chin to be forward, looking up towards the ceiling. Arms are next to your body, palms are facing down, and remember the heels are about hip distance apart. From here, inhale as you keep the spine on the ground. As you exhale, squeezing the block and lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Inhaling to come down one vertebra at a time, softening through the inner thighs. And as you're ready, exhaling, press through the feet, squeezing the block, lifting the sides of the hips up towards the ceiling. Inhaling to lower down. Keep going at your own breath. It is a counterintuitive breath for this pose, but we're learning how to activate our deeper core system with our breath. Each exhale, pressing into the feet, squeezing the block, lifting the sides of the hips up. Each inhale, lowering down one vertebra at a time, softening through the inner thighs. Continuing. You may want to check that you're keeping the front of the throat relaxed. And just allowing the breath to guide the movement. We have 3 more remaining. And starting our last 2. And now coming to our last one, and we're going to hold it at the top this time. So staying here, hold it at the top. Now if you can, keep pressing to the block. Keep the inner thighs active. Lifting from the sides of the hips up towards the ceiling. And if you like, you can try to walk your hands together, maybe clasping your hands together and walking the shoulders under, rotating the shoulders down towards the floor, lifting through the chest, relaxing the throat, softening the face. If you like, releasing the clasp of the hands, staying here for one more breath. And on the inhale, we're going to lower down one vertebra at a time, coming all the way down. Removing the block from the legs, pausing here for a moment. You can even have the feet a little wider than the hips, knees rest towards one another, hands can come back into a triangular shape over the low pelvis. Staying here for 3 to 5 full breaths. Feeling that nice full expansion of the rib cage on each inhale. And feeling the rib cage and belly return to neutral on the exhale. And now releasing the hands towards your side, and we're going to come up to seated position. So let's turn towards one side. Use your hands for support and coming all the way up. So we're going to come onto our hands and knees, sitting onto the mat and sitting on your heels. Now of course, if you need support under you, you can always place the block underneath your sitting bones or a book and have a little bit more support here. Okay? Otherwise, just sitting on the heels. Having our hands forward, and let's have a tall spine. From here, notice, is your pelvis neutral? So to find out, we can do a few rocks of the pelvis, the same that we did on the ground. And then trying to find that neutral place in between. So finding the neutral place where the hip points and the pubic bone should be in one plane. And the same thing we can do with our rib cage. So we can flare the rib cage up, and we can also draw it forward. So maybe doing a few times, finding that range of motion of the rib cage. And now aligning it so it's directly neutral, stacked right over the pelvis. From there, taking one or two hands to the low belly, and we're going to do what's called an S breath, meaning that we make this hissing sound on the exhale. So facing forward, looking over the direction of your knees. Inhaling fully, and as you exhale, an S breath. Continuing, inhale, exhaling. Doing a few more times, noticing what happens under your hands as you exhale. Two more times. Pushing all the air out. Last breath. So noticing how that feels when you're exhaling all the air out. This is our deeper core system turning on. So that's the feeling we want to have as we go through our postures now. So if you like, removing the block, just placing it to the side, and coming onto all four. We'll do cat-cow together, spreading the fingertips wide, shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Inhaling as you lift through the chest, opening through the chest, chin lifted, pelvis untucked. Exhaling as you rounding chin to chest, drawing the pelvis in, pressing the mat away. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling to cat, noticing how it feels at that lower belly. Inhaling to open. And exhaling to cat. Doing three more. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to round. And our last one. Now, repeating one with the S breath. Inhaling to open. And inhaling to open. So we're going to take the block and place the block between the thighs. Having the block between the thighs. Now we're going to try to recreate that same feeling that we did with the S breath, but this time by squeezing the block, activating the block. Again, doing cat-cow, 5 rounds. So we inhale to open to cow, exhaling as you squeeze the block and rounding through cat. Notice the sensation in the body. Inhale to open, exhaling to round, squeezing the block. 3 more, becoming aware of what is happening just over the pelvis with the lower belly. Last 2 rounds. And our last one. And returning to tabletop. So by squeezing the block, we're actually activating our lower core. It's a simple tip or trick to be able to turn our lower core, our deeper core system on. So we're going to try this with a downward facing dog. If you feel that you're not ready for downward facing dog, just continue with cat-cow. Please notice if you're experiencing any doming or tenting around the abdominals. If you are, then return to cat-cow. Okay? Otherwise, we'll try to do downward facing dog with the block. So we're going to tuck the toes under, We enter downward facing dog and an exhale as we squeeze the block. So inhaling here, exhale, squeeze the block, lifting the knees up and coming all the way up to downward facing dog. Now keep the knees bent and the heels lifted. Okay, staying here for one inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze the block, dropping the knees down. Okay. Let's try that again. Inhaling where you are. Exhaling, squeezing the block, lifting the hips up, pressing the mat away. Inhaling here at the top of downward facing dog. And exhale, squeeze the block and drop the knees down. Let's combine it with cat-cow. So flattening the feet. Inhale to cow. Exhale, rounding through the spine, squeezing the block. Inhale to cow. Tuck the toes, squeeze the block as you lift the seat up towards downward facing dog. Inhale at the top. Exhale, squeeze the block, drop the knees down, flatten the feet. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. And our last one, inhale to cow. Tuck the toes, squeeze the block, lift the hips up. Take an inhale here, and exhaling, squeezing the block, coming down. Flatten the feet, just remove the block out of the way, draw the knees together, and send your seat back to child's pose, resting the forehead down. If you like, you can bring the arms around by your sides and relaxing the shoulders and the forehead towards the ground. Taking 3 to 4 full breaths here, breathing down the back body, feeling the expansion of the rib cage. And then drawing the hands forward, walking the hands towards your body. We'll just put this together for a very simple flow to get the body moving and connected with the breath. So we'll do it without the block this time. So you can just set the block towards the side. But remember the activation of the inner thighs and also that same feeling as when we do the S breath. So sitting on the heels, inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale to child's pose, draw the forehead down towards the floor. Inhale to all four into cat, into cow, opening through the chest. Exhale into cat. Inhale to cow. Tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Can keep the knees bent if you like, with the heels lifted. Inhale here. Exhale, lower the knees down, flatten the feet. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, send the seat back, child's pose. Now arms by the ears, lifting up on the knees. Inhale to come up. Exhale, sitting on the heels. One more time together. Inhaling, coming up. Exhale, draw the lower belly in. Forehead comes down. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Tuck the toes. Exhale, sending the seat up, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, dropping the knees down, flatten the feet. Inhale, cow. Exhale to round. Inhale to cow. Exhale the seat back, child's pose. Now arms by the ears, lifting up on the knees. Inhale. Exhale, sitting on the heels. Pause here for a moment, just observing any sensations in the body, in the mind. And then reaching forward, and let's cross the shins behind us, rolling over onto our seat and extending the legs out in front. Okay. So I want to make sure that you're on the sitting bones. You can sit on a block or place a towel under you if you need. We just don't want you here slouching. So being up on the sitting bones, okay, and having the hands by your side. So we're going to draw the toes up and press the heels down into the ground and activate the entire leg. So kneecaps are lifted, quadriceps are strong, palms are down on the ground beside you. Here, if you can, I would like you to inhale fully, and as you exhale, use that same S breath as you continue this activation. Inhale to soften through the body, even the legs. Exhale as you activate feet, knees, quadriceps. Inhale to soften. Exhale, activate. Two more. Inhale to soften. Last one. Inhale. And softening the body. Let's bend the knees, bring your seat right to the middle of the mat, and we're going to work our way down. Use your elbows to come down, supporting your core. And returning to our starting position, we're going to take a shavasana here. You can rest the legs all the way down to the mat, legs as wide as the mat. Palms can face up, and softening the body, closing the eyes when you're ready. Taking in a few deep breaths and allowing your body to merge into the floor. Coming into this place of full surrender for the next few minutes. And now starting to bring your awareness to your body, aware of how your breath moves through the body. Bringing slow movements to your fingers and toes. And then bending the knees and keeping the feet on the floor. The feet can be a little wider than your hips. Knees can rest towards one another. And placing our hands in the same triangular shape right over the pelvis. Having a neutral pelvis, neutral rib cage. Just pausing here for a moment, connecting in with our creative energy. Nourishing our womb space with the warmth of the hands and our directed breath. And I offer you this affirmation if it resonates to keep with you. I am a strong, radiant, and creative woman, and I deeply and lovingly accept myself. I am a strong, radiant, and creative woman, and I deeply and lovingly accept myself. As you're ready, releasing the hands and just turning towards one side, slowly helping yourself to come all the way up to a comfortable seated position. Just sitting with me for just a moment with eyes closed. And let's take one hand just below the navel and one to the heart center. And we'll close our practice together with one humming sound. Breathing in. If you like folding the hands together, I thank you for your practice.